I'm Lauren Tarshis, and I'm the author of the I Survive series.
What inspired you to become an author?
Well, that's a great question. My father was an author when I was growing up, so my childhood was very much filled with the sound of my father's typewriter from his office right in our house. But I had reading struggles when I was a child, so even though I sort of dreamt of becoming a writer, I honestly never imagined it was possible. So it really wasn't until well after high school that I became a really good reader, and I started to consider the fact that I perhaps could be a writer like my dad. But my journey really began as a writer for adults, nonfiction, magazines, and it was a real accident, very serendipitous, that I ended up writing for children. So I always like to tell kids that there's really no predicting when you're a child what you're going to grow up to be, because I never imagined that I'd grow up and be sitting here as an author for children.
Why did you write the I Survive series?
Well, I had written many nonfiction articles for kids about these big iconic events, and I noticed that anytime I had a real child in the center of the event, if I told the story through the eyes of a person my reader's age, those were the stories that I heard from teachers and kids that they loved the most. So I started to really wonder, why isn't there already a series like this? You know, why a series that takes really big, important, complex stories. My original idea was just to do natural disasters from history, and the series has really evolved along with requests from kids to broaden the scope. So the original idea was pretty narrow, but as the years have gone by, it's the kids writing to me that have expanded my sense of what would be a good topic for the series.
Where do you get your ideas for the I Survive series?
Most of the ideas come from kids. Most of the ideas are either direct suggestions from readers who have ideas that I hadn't thought about, like Mount St. Helens, that came from a reader, or it's just that I get such a volume of ideas, of suggestions for that very same topic, that I know that's what the kids are interested in, because that's what I'm really trying to do, is satisfy their curiosity.
What is the research process for your books?
The research process is killer, I have to say. It's almost ridiculous, because you look at these little books, you know, and you think, a 9 or 10-year-old's going to be reading them. This must be very easy. Just read a book and make up a character. But in order to tell the stories the way I want to tell them, which is really where I really want the children to feel steeped in the time period, in the event. I want them to understand what it smelled like, what it felt like. I want every detail to be very accurate. So I often have to read dozens of books to even begin the research process, and then I generally travel to the place that I'm writing about. I interview historians or scientists. My office becomes covered with, the walls are covered with maps and piles of books everywhere. So it's my favorite part of the process, but it's also it's a lot of work.
What is your favorite book in the series?
I don't have a favorite, because first of all, each of the 15 I Survive books and then the 3 True Stories books involve either real children that I've talked to or researched, or fictional children that I have created, through painstaking work, through my imagination, and I get very attached to them through the writing process. They genuinely feel real and vivid to me. So choosing a favorite would just feel wrong. And also, I invest so much time in each one, and they're all so different. It's not like a story. It's not like a series, which is where I have the same character that I'm progressing through a long narrative. These are all brand new stories every single time, and they're all so different that I would say that there's certain scenes from certain books that really stand out that I'm proud of, or I really like, or a strand of research that was so fascinating. But generally, I feel proud of them all, and I can't really choose a favorite.
Do you have any advice for authors?
I will definitely give a tip. The best tip I have I had this opportunity, a strange opportunity about 16 years ago, to be I was with a group of people that got to meet J.K. Rowling at the Scholastic offices where I work. And she said that Harry Potter was not her first book, that she had written a couple of other books before. And she said, and that she said, no one has read those books. Those are not good books, they're locked in a drawer. And she said, a person really needs to write at least 2 bad books before they can write a good book. And so I would encourage young writers to see their first efforts that maybe aren't as good as they want them to be, not as failures, not as a sign that they don't have talent or what it takes, but as part of the journey of learning to write, because writing really is a skill. I do not really think it's a talent. I think it's a skill that you learn and practice, and if you love to do it and you keep doing it, you will get better.